Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend a few minutes with us. On behalf of our president and founder, Dr. Ansel Johnson, and the entire foundation, Healthy Living with a Vision, we want to just thank you for taking time out and agreeing to talk with us for a few minutes. We're not going to hold you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me.
So this being Autism Acceptance Month, the foundation, and just to give you a little background about us, the foundation was started almost a year ago with a mission statement of trying to end health disparities in communities of color. It was founded by Dr. Johnson. I am the current vice president. And as we looked around for opportunities to bring awareness to disparities in communities of color, this being Autism Acceptance Month, I have a personal connection with you. We have similar stories and similar backgrounds. And so I sort of nominated you as a person that we should get to know and promote, because you have been a warrior on the battlefield in terms of autism advocacy, and just wanted to spend a few moments talking about your journey, your experience. And you started a non-for-profit, theanswerinc.org, and maybe get some more information about that. And we're going to put this on our website, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
And more exposure will always helps.
Absolutely.
Expand your horizon. So let's get started. Just have a few questions. If you would tell us about your background and how you got into the autism advocacy arena.
Well, good. I surely will. And thank you again for inviting me to come on with you today. Again, I'm Deborah Vance, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Answer Incorporated Autism Awareness and Support Agency, where we're dedicated to providing support, resources, education, recreation, and workforce development, not just for families living with autism, but developmental and intellectual disabilities as well. Started this journey 15 years ago, but my son is actually 34, but I started the advocacy journey 15 years ago because I just grew tired. My late husband and I grew tired of just talking about the disparities in Black and brown communities as it relates to autism, but we just decided to do something about it because we have a lived experience, right?
Yes.
And, you just have so many people that you talk to that complain, oh, we need this, or I wish we had that, or we need that resource, or we should have this resource. And my husband and I had to go through many, many challenges and cross many barriers to be able to just get support and resources for ourselves, let alone talk about resources for our son. Because when Jason was diagnosed, I think it was 1 in 1,000. People were living with autism, and now the numbers are 1 in 46. So many people are being diagnosed that were misdiagnosed with the disorder that are actually, along the right path now. Being on this journey of advocacy and leadership for the last 15 years has been such a rewarding one, because it's given a lot of families in Black and brown communities the opportunity to heal. And be empowered, because, it's been a stigma for so many years that, you look around and you see these families that are in the communities, but you only see them in bits and pieces, and you know that there's more.
Yes.
So I tell you, when my husband and I started the agency, I told myself, it's got to be more people with autism in this community, but than our son. So once we started the Answer, they just started coming out of the woodwork, because they could see firstly that it was somebody that looked like them, me.
Yes.
And somebody that could relate to their situation. And you know what? And not just relate to it from I would say a therapeutic standpoint of view, but from a humanic standpoint of view as well. Because when I talk to families, I'm not a doctor.
Mhm.
I'm just an advocate and a community servant and a servant of God. And I want the families to know, firstly, that you don't have to be ashamed of your child. You don't have to be ashamed of the meltdowns, how people look at our kids when they're doing different things. Let's just take away the shame and the blame and the guilt so that you can begin to heal, so that you can get all the resources that are available to help you and your child.
Yeah. How early was your son diagnosed?
Jason was diagnosed at 18 months. And when we got the diagnosis, we had been going through many challenges because Jason was a preemie. He was born at 2 pounds, 6 ounces at 24 weeks. So the doctor said that he would have many challenges anyway. But we did not want to let that limit us and just get, I guess you would say, get caught in a bubble. And I just kept telling my husband, I said, something different about Jason. He just not is meeting any benchmarks halfway on time. Mm-hmm. And so we began to just take him to different doctors. And finally, he was diagnosed with autism.
Now, do you have any other children?
Yes. I have a 48-year-old.
Oh.
He lives in Alabama with his wife and 2 children. Okay. And he was on the other end of the spectrum. No spectrum. He was a honor student, latchkey kid, born full term, honor student, everything. And then 13 years later, here comes Jason.
Okay. Wow. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have a shared interest. My wife, Beverly, and I have been supporters of yours for a number of years.
Yes, you have, and we appreciate it.
And our youngest child, who is a twin, but he's a boy, we had boy-girl twins, who's about to turn 30, was diagnosed at 18 months.
Okay.
And we went through the same challenges looking for support systems and organizations, and really, my wife more so than I, because I was working, I really did not have the time to devote to it, but she dove right in and went to every IEP, went to the Board of Ed, went all across
everything,
advocating for him.
Yes.
To the point that he graduated from high school, he went to trade school, and he's been working and involving himself in other organizations. But
so amazing.
If there's something that you would want our community to know about what's available and what's out there, what would you tell them?
Well, firstly, I would say if you have a child that's on the spectrum or a child with any disability, firstly, you need support. Mm-hmm. A lot of families think that you can just go through this. I got my significant other, I have my family, but Jason's 34 years old. And I promise you, Mr. Byrd, that since I've been going through this journey with other families, it feels good to be able to call someone and they understand Jason's meltdowns or understand that I'm frustrated and why I'm frustrated. So my first suggestion would be to join a support group, The Answer Incorporated.
Okay, that's really good.
Join a support group. That's the first thing. Now, the first thing is find a good doctor.
Okay.
Secondly, join a support group so that you can have a tribe of your own. And then get your family together. Yes. and talk to them about your kiddo, because just like you see something's different going on with them, they know as well. But have that conversation. Don't just take it for granted that they know how to interact with your kid, because some of them do and then some of them are uncomfortable, and that's okay. But you want them to be educated, as much education as you can give them. And if you can't, we're here for that as well. And then we have multiple programs that help with tutoring, that help with nutrition. We do parent trainings. We help with IEP support. And we help to advocate for families across the board in any situation that they are in. And if we can't do it, we have colleagues that can. So call The Answer Incorporated at 708-296-5651 or go to our website at theanswerinc.org.
Okay. Could you give those numbers again?
Yes. Our phone number is 708-296-5651. And our website is theanswerinc.org.
And finally, what do you see on the horizon for the world of autism advocacy and what's coming down the pike that you see that's needed and in the works?
You know, one thing that I'm really excited about, well, it's a couple of things, but the first thing I'm excited that the legislators are being real intentional about specific bills that they're passing as it relates to our families, as it relates to our children, educationally. I sit on the Illinois State advisory board for special education.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that our children aren't just clustered in one classroom, that they're getting their due diligence as it relates to education as well. Recreation is a big piece in our community because a lot of our kids, they don't have friends. They don't have the opportunity to just go outside or even be a part of a group. So we want to make sure that there's state funding available for us to actually still create programs and have them going for our children to be able to have that safe space. And lastly, for the community to just buy in and open their hearts to autism, because if we get a buy-in from the community and the community as whole and acceptance of inclusion and awareness and diversity, because diversity equals what? Inclusion. That's and if we can have that would just be wonderful.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk a few minutes with us. Personally, you are a champion on the battlefield for autism advocacy. And my wife and I are going to continue to advocate for you and support you and support your efforts. And we hope that this message is seen by hundreds, if not thousands of people. And,
you know what? I just want to say one other thing. We have our walkathon coming up, which is May 7th.
Okay.
And it's at Proviso West High School. We raise money to sponsor children and adults from age 7 to 50 to horseback riding camp for an entire week. And we also have hopefully two college scholarships named after our very own state senator leader, Kimberly A. Blyford. Okay. So a lot of our kids, they don't necessarily go to college, but they go to some type of secondary education. And we want to be able to help them with that as well. But it has to be for a diverse learner. Sure. And on April 30th, we have another fundraiser. EB30X Studios is hosting a Spinning for Autism event actually this Saturday, April 30th. So at 11 o'clock. So everything is going to be on it's on our website. And we also have a newsletter that comes out every week as well.
Okay. But for those that want to participate in your walkathon, should they call the number or go?
They can go to the website, go straight to the website and sign up, theanswerinc.org.
Okay. Ms. Vines, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You have a wonderful day.
You do the same thing. Thank you.
Bye-bye.